Okay, we picked up a new toy today. This seems to be a 58 Sea King Montgomery Ward's 5. So it's a 5 horsepower. Basically, it's a 58 Evinrude. It's an OMC motor. They're all the same. There's some features on the Sea King that are different this year, like the way the cowling comes off. This little feature of the... I already took that off. That thing just fall. This flips down. I don't know why. But you can see it's that same lower unit process as... That's a 61. That's a 58. Yeah, it's all the same. Parts interchangeable. You can see the saturation on this one. Most likely we'll do a reseal on this one. This one, maybe we'll just go head to toe and clean her up and do everything that you should do to these motors. We will see if she runs right away though, because that's my favorite part. See if we can get spark. So first things first is we'll pop the cowling off, we'll check the compression, and then we'll check the coils, see if they're cracked, see if we've got any spark at all, clean up the points. To get the fuel pump style, which is nice. Some clear focus here. Fuel pump style, which is nice. Pretty clean. Doesn't look to be overheated. A little discoloration in the back there, but that could be normal. No flaky paint. So hopefully this is one of those that just got put away and never reused. First impressions, pulling the string. Doesn't give me a lot of force back. I'm worried about compression, but we'll check that. So we're going to pop the cowling off and see what kind of, see if we can get some spark or compression numbers, and we'll check it out. So 58.5 Sea King. Basically typical OMC motor. 58. Let's get her going. Okay, apologize for any background noise. Got some company. But what I like to do when I first get an older outboard like this is I like to check the coils. 9 times out of 10 the coils are cracked. So what you can do is you can do it this way. If you know you're going to get into it, you might as well just pop this off, because most likely the points have got to be cleaned, especially if it's been in a garage or it's been stored for years. You never know if they keep it outside. But if you get one that might be in good condition, what you can do, just it's up to you how you want to start it. I've been doing this for not so long, but I've been doing this enough where I know that 9 times out of 10 the coils are cracked, so this stuff's got to come off anyway. But if you're just like, heck, I don't want to get into it if I don't have to, and you just either want to tune it up or check on it, first thing you can do is pull the spark plugs out and test for spark. If you have spark, then you can kind of go on test it. You could throw some gas in it, see if it starts. You can go right from there. So in this one, so I've taken everything off. I take a look at the coils, and they look they look brand new. So someone's changed the coils in this before. Even the condensers kind of look new. So what that means is I'm gonna check for spark now, even though everything's already off. Most likely the points are going to need to be cleaned and adjusted. But what we'll do is, so step 1 is either just take the spark plugs out and see if it's got spark. For me, step 2 is check the coils, see if they're cracked, and now I will check for spark and see what we get. Okay, upon first inspection, I'm not getting spark. I did get 1 spark. Literally, I spun it about 20 times by hand, and 1 spark jumped. So that tells me that there will be spark, but points are just going to have to be cleaned. Something tells me that once I clean the points up, we'll get spark. So now I'm going to test for compression. Compression reading, 60, 61. 60 in the top, 61 on the bottom. That tells me I have pretty decent compression. Not great, but these older motors run on 60s a lot of the time. But they're even. Main thing is they're even. So now we got to address the spark issue. First thing we do when we deal with spark issues is you can look at the wires. The wires actually feel original, pretty old. But most likely it's going to be the points. So no spark. First thing I always do, pop the flywheel off and check the points, clean them up, make sure they're gapped properly, and then retest for spark. Let's get to that. So, okay, I have the Evinrude puller. If you don't, the older ones usually come off a lot easier than the newer ones. Get a screwdriver, get your BFS underneath, pry up. Maybe rotate it once or twice. Ow. It's not supposed to be this hard. Rotate the nut up to where it's flush. And in which case you're unlucky like me. Set the pulley up. And get the flywheel to stop spinning. You can put it in gear. Oh boy. One of those days. And eventually the flywheel will come off. Pretty. New points and everything. That's bad. That's very bad. So this motor had a rework. New points as well as condensers. I've never seen new points. They look to be a scotch dirty. Very curved, actually. For brand new points, they should be shiny. Huh. Open and closing, assuming. This motor's had some work done to it, so this guy said he couldn't get it running. I mean, brand new. These are new coils. Aftermarket, but new. I've never seen points that clean. Condensers are new. The only thing that don't seem to be new are these spark plug wires. So maybe he didn't install them correctly. They seem to be original because they look to be old. A little crusty. We will investigate further. Let's clean these points up and make sure they're correct. Okay, got a little nervous because when I pop the flywheel off, this is a brand new setup. Somebody put some work into this. So now I'm like, okay, so somebody went through the trouble of getting this thing to pristine condition and then gave up, was bored of it. I mean, this looks like work that was done a week ago. So, like I said, they looked a little dirty. These are brand new points, so they shouldn't be dirty at all. So what I did was I took some sandpaper to them. Before I did that, I checked the gap on the feeler, and I was getting like a little bit, it was too skinny. I couldn't quite fit the 20 thousandths in there. So you get your feeler gauge, and you rotate the prop until the top. This says top here, right there on the cam wheel says top. That will hit this point, and will hit this point. And at that point will come open to allow for the spark to go through. That when it's open like that, then you stick your feeler gauge in, and you test it. And I couldn't get it in. So that tells me it was too small of an opening. Which means what happened is you might get sparked, but it was sparking at the wrong time. All kinds of problems when you're not gapped right. So quick opened them up. Pin here. Was able to squeeze this through. It's like snug. You want a little bit of tension on there. You don't want a big hole. You're like, oh, okay, it fits. You want it 20 thousandths. Pieced it back together. Spun the flywheel. Boom, bang. Prettiest spark you ever saw. Jumped a good 3/8 of an inch. That's not correct, but you get what I'm saying. It was a bright, blue, powerful spark every time. So what happened was this guy went through all this trouble, put it together, and just didn't, stupid, just didn't gap his points correctly. And brand new points. I mean, brand new. Let's get a nice little shot of these pretty babies. Brand new points. Those are new condensers. Those are new coils. This is a new mag plate, with the exception of the wires, but if I'm getting bright blue spark with those wires, they'll do. Most guys will change the plugs, they'll change the wires, change the coils, they'll change everything. I'm not in that kind of market, so we're going to check the fuel pump, make sure she's clean. We're going to maybe change these fuel lines. These are definitely older, and if we get it running, that's all you need is a crack on the water or something. Hey, look at that. See that? Old fuel lines, they're going to break on you, so change them. Because they look in good shape, but oh, look, it runs on the water, and then boom, now you're sucking air, and now you're stuck. So fuel lines I will change because they get crusty and they break. So step 3, we got spark, we got compression. What I will do a lot of times is I will throw gas on her and see if she runs. Okay, but it's been sitting. I don't know if they put a carb kit in it. I don't know. I see some varnish here. I smelt a little varnish on my plugs, the old plugs that came out of it. I don't know where I put the plugs. They probably put them over here. So the plugs I pulled out look to be a little bit old, but correct for the motor, the GS6s. And I happen to be out, so I need to go buy some more plugs. So next thing what we'll do is we'll pop the carburetor off, clean her up. We want to check inside at least, make sure. I could probably throw fuel in it and start her up, and I bet you she'll run. But let's just, we'll buy a kit. Quick clean the carb up. And then this motor, like I said, it hasn't overheated, but it's not going to hurt me to pop the bottom off and change the water pump. However, get to the water pump on this engine, this power head's got to come off. That is the one with these motors, is to get that water pump off, you have to pull the power head. So, the 58. 58 through 63, 64. You guys probably know better than me. Once they start added in the 2 screws, pop 2 screws, and then you can disconnect the linkage down here. Or some of them, some of the Johnsons, when you drop this down that little bit, the connecting rod will be inside right there, and you'll be able to squeeze the screwdriver and get it. But this motor power has got to come off to change the impeller, so I'm on the fence on if I'm gonna. I'll probably clean the carb, start it up, see if it runs. If it does run, then we'll go through the motions to take the power head off and change the impeller. And we'll show you all of that with any luck. Okay, so 58 Sea King underway. Spark, compression, step, whoever. One of my favorite parts is popping the bowl off the carburetor to see if it's got a kit in it or if it's got the old cork float. Nothing wrong with the cork float. It works. The ethanol will eat up some of them, but 9 times out of 10 they're fine. But the kits nowadays are so cheap, and they come with the plastic float that'll never go bad on you. It can't hurt to replace it. But a lot of times older when you get this, which is basically varnish. You can see it doesn't look dirty, but it's thicker. It's not gas. You all know what gas smells like. It don't smell like gas. Even though the oil's mixed in it, you'd still get a strong gasoline smell. This smells more like just like a tarnished gas. So it doesn't smell like gas really at all, and it's thicker and goopier. So had I ran the engine, the carburetor could have got gooped up more and worse. So better we take it apart, clean it up, throw a new float in it. Plus you get the new, the new needle and seat and stuff. And then the benefit of knowing that you cleaned out your carburetor, it's nice and clean and no debris running through your engine and stuff. So definitely happy I took the carb apart. We'll put a kit in it, make it nice and clean. I haven't looked at the packing material yet for the needles and stuff. Needles looking okay shape. You could start to sell it. There's a little bit of a groove in the low speed. Not a groove, but you can see it's starting to wear out from people tightening down on it. A little too tight over time. I don't think I'll have to get a new one, but something to think about.